Hello, welcome back to the Breaking News Update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you're watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got a breaking news report coming out from Ukraine, and I have some information directly from Ukraine's military that the Russians are massing forces along the border of the Kharkiv region up in northeastern Ukraine, possibly preparing for a new offensive. Take a look at your screen here. Ukraine warns Russia massing troops on the border of Kharkiv Oblast. Russia may be preparing new attacks in the Kharkiv sector, as indicated by buildup of troops near the border. This was according to Andriy Pomahybis, the chief of staff of Ukraine's 13th National Guard Kharkiv Brigade. Okay, so this is after two stories we've been hearing recently. One of them being over the last week, we've heard that the Russians are launching a new summer campaign or offensive to attack multiple regions of Ukraine, and we've heard that maybe the Kharkiv region and also the Sumy Oblast, which is right next door to Kharkiv, could possibly be attacked. Also today, Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, was attending a regional administration meeting in the Kursk region in the Glushkovky district. While the leaders over there of the Glushkovky region were holding a meeting, they were laughing and discussing the fact that they might attack into the Sumy region and maybe try to take over the city of Sumy. So Sumy and Kharkiv are expecting major assaults by the Russians here in the future, and we could be seeing that happening at any moment. Now we have this report today that the Russians are gathering up troops and massing forces along the border of the Kharkiv region, possibly preparing for a new attack. Also, apparently, according to Andriy Pomahybis, he was stating that right now they're not really seeing any attacks from Russian troops, but they are seeing a buildup of fiber optic drones attacking that area. And I have a new video I can show you guys today of a field inside of Ukraine just covered in fiber optic cables due to all the drone usage over there. So let's hop on over here to a report with RBC Ukraine. Russia gathers troops near Kharkiv border. Ukrainian military warns of growing threat. You can see the date today, May 21st, 2025. And it says right here, Russian troops are gathering military personnel near the border with the Kharkiv region. The enemy may be preparing for assaults. The Ukrainian news agency Suspilne reports, citing the chief of staff of the 13th Ukrainian Operational Brigade Kharkiv, Andriy Pomahybis. According to the Ukrainian military, the enemy is trying to pull personnel closer to the line of combat contact and carry out assault operations, but overall the enemy is not achieving success. We need to maintain surveillance in all the most dangerous directions of approach for to our forward edge. Personnel, Russian forces, are being amassed closer to the state border, which means there are attempts to bring in troops in clear preparation for active enemy assault operations. Our defense forces are ready to repel attacks, Pomahybis said. The chief of staff of Kharkiv added that the Russians are using a combined method of attack for strikes and reconnaissance. They use artillery and unmanned systems. At the same time, the enemy brings in infantry. That is, in one direction, they distract attention, while in another, they advance. Pomahybis also noted that the range of fiber optic drones used by the Russians can reach 15 to 30 kilometers. Their main buildup is fiber optic drones. This is a very painful issue. We are taking countermeasures. The main advantage of these drones is that we can't detect or jam them with electronic warfare systems, but there are still mechanisms to counter such drones, Ukrainian military said. So we heard about that recently. I think Ukraine is working with one of the Baltic nations to try to develop some sort of system or countermeasure to these fiber optic drones, that because they're using a fiber optic cable, they cannot be affected by electronic warfare systems. So they're much harder to be shot down over here in this fight against Russia. So here's a little picture showing a deep state map of the town of Vovchansk right here and some of the areas that Russia's controlling. Okay, this kind of light gray line is the border between Ukraine and Russia. This would be the Belgorod region up here and then the Kharkiv region. And we know that Russia does control inside the border of the Kharkiv region over here, especially around Vovchansk. Heavy fighting still taking place over there for well over a year now. But nonetheless, Ukraine is still holding back the Russians in this area, even though they have broken through sometime last year. So now finally, it says fighting in the Kharkiv region. A year ago, Russian troops launched a renewed offensive in the north of the Kharkiv region. The fighting reached the city of Vovchansk. Currently, combat operations continue in the Kharkiv direction. According to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, over the past day in the Kharkiv direction, the enemy attempted to attack 3 times in the area of Vovchansk and Stroivka. Okay, so apparently they are starting to attack over here still, but nonetheless, the Ukrainians are holding them back for right now, so that is good news. But we are still waiting for a new assault coming here very soon, and I've been expecting this at any moment. We haven't really seen it taking place yet, but the Ukrainians have been warning about it. So finally, I want to show you guys one last video here real quick that came out from the Dead District over on X. And it says fiber optic cable fields. I want to show you guys this as we're talking about fiber optic cables. Look at this field just littered with fiber optic cables from the drones, probably from Ukraine and Russia. Take a look. All right, crazy video. Now, it might be a little bit difficult to see, but what you're looking for is kind of like glistening light that you see here in the grass. We can see these lines here all over the place. They almost kind of look like spider webs, but these are the fiber optic cables that are just laying over here in the grass after these drones attack into Ukraine. Many of these probably coming from the Russians, but we know that Ukraine uses these as well. Just wanted to briefly show you guys that video as it's something I have not seen before, and maybe you guys haven't either. But this just shows the extent of the war over here inside of Ukraine and how active Ukraine and Russia are with using these fiber optic drones, which are being used right now in the Kharkiv sector that Andriy Pomahybis is warning about today, okay? So just want to let you guys know what's going on up here in the Kharkiv region of Ukraine, that the Russians most likely are preparing for a new offensive to attack the Kharkiv region, so just be ready for that. Let me know what you guys think about all these details down below in the comment section. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell, that way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.